it's Kelly from Cards by Christine and the Sunshine Stampin' Co. Oh my gosh! Okay, so this is not like my brand or anything like that, but it's a sun, and I had a very chaotic morning this morning, so I did not put this together. Anyways, someday I'll get better at mornings. I don't think that'll be someday soon. But we are here, and it is bright and early here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. We are embarking on a kit class. We are doing the Calm and Bright kit. I'm very excited to sit down, slow down, and make a few cards with you this morning. So if you have the kit, grab your supplies and you can craft along with us. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So let's see what we've got going on today. We've got Calm and Bright kit, which was released in October 2025 by Stampin' Up. There are 3 kits. This is 2 of 3 for our viewing purposes this month. Hello, Marcia. Thank you so much for joining. So yeah, we've got cards in here. Last week we did the Nutcracker tags, and then next week we are doing a Remembering Christmas kit, and that is, it's not a scrapbook, but it's more of like a memory keeping project. So great diversity this month. This of course is the cards. Lost Lagoon is our Stampin' Spot. We've got some tiny stamps. We'll check those out in just a second. And then in here, we have our supplies. So, woo, that is a loosey-goosey scissors. So let's bust it open, oh my goodness, and see what we have in store. Looks like we are making 9 cards, so 3 each of 3 designs. This is a fully inclusive kit, which means it comes with the stamps, the ink, it even comes with a block. So, great kit for those who are just beginning. But of course, we love kits even if we are avid crafters. So I know a lot of people in our community are more of the avid crafter type. Don't be dismayed. Kits are still a great option even when you have been doing this for a while and maybe know a little more than just the basics. All right, so in this pouch we have our glue dots, our mini dimensionals, and then some tiny, like, matte pearl dots. So we have those. We'll move these off to the side. We also have a spool of white twine. Okay. Then, let's do this. Woo! Getting a little crazy. Ah, interesting. So typically, at least what I'm familiar with, the twine is, the end of the twine is like tucked under. This has, and sometimes it's hard to find the start. This has a piece of adhesive holding it down. Haven't seen that before. Hello, Randy from Southwest Michigan. Thank you guys so much for joining in this morning. All right, so Calm and Bright kit. We'll get to the contents in just a minute here. But yes, we've got 3 each of 3 different designs. For our coordinating colors this kit, we have Basic Beige, Gray Granite, Lost Lagoon, Pecan Pie, Pool Party, Pretty in Pink, and White. Back to our stamps. Stamp set is called Calm and Bright. The stamps include All is Calm, All is Bright, Merry Christmas in a scripty font, then a collection of itty bitties. So we've got a snowflake, a star, a grouping of stars. Okay, so we've got a couple circles and some absolutely micro stars in here. Then a circle star, a small circle star, a house, a miniature tree, sending joy, and from our house to yours. So those are our stamps in this kit. And then let's go through the contents that we have. So, crazy chaos. All right, so we've got note paper, a whole bunch of little confetti. Get those popped out, seeing as how 90% of them were out already. Now, this is only two, I was gonna say, this is only 2 of them, and I know we need 3, so we are looking at one piece over here that I missed. All right, then we have rectangles that have a little debossing on them. And then larger rectangles that have tiny little, okay, these details are very fine, which I like. You know, sometimes it's the tiny little small details that sometimes go missed that really elevate the card. Good morning, Susan. Thank you so much for joining. I so appreciate it. So this, we have a tiny little ledge, and not only is it tiny, but it is in there at the like 1/16 of an inch line. So it's just nestled in there. Then this piece has a border here. You can feel it, you can see it. It's little like cross stitches, so little X's, tiny little X's. Then we have our envelopes, and on the inside of the envelopes, we've got that beautiful star and kind of like circle snowflakey type looking background. So very cool detail. The same on all. And this is maybe the most visible, but it does appear as though all, if not most, of these white pieces have texture to them. So again, it's the small details that really, really elevate kits like these. Okay, so these are side folded card bases. So the reason that is done is because if this were just scored, it would be too big for the box. So when they do a side folding or a top folding, I guess I'm not sure if this is a vertical or a horizontal card yet, they've come pre-folded so that they fit in the box. All right, then the rest of our card bases are standard. I mean, that's a standard size. It's just maybe what you would call not a standard fold, even though it's nothing like crazy or bizarre. So these we will go ahead and burnish on the score line. Then we have our pieces. So let's see here. We've got trees, flowers, and holly leaves. And then we've got the very intricate laser cut pieces. Lots of intricate laser cut pieces. Oh, and then this piece, very fine detail that is hard to see and show off. I don't know if you will catch this, but there is a very fine luster to this particular sheet. So we've got some foliage and then some trees on it. So yeah, there's lots of nice surprises. Like, this is like Christmas morning unpacking all of these fun surprises. Okay, so then what we will do is we will lay out what pieces go with what. Typically, Stampin' Up! Has a nice little page here that shows what pieces go where. And especially on kits like this where there are so many pieces, so many small little pieces, it's nice to know what's going where. So let's see here. We've got the clear block, the various stamps. I'll worry about the stamps later, or actually maybe right now. It looks like card bases maybe aren't listed here. So like the one with the ornaments is the top opening card. Potentially? Potentially. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and lay out all of the supplies per card. That is my own personal preference. I like to kind of keep everything nice and organized. And some kits, especially kits that have more pieces, or kits that have many similar pieces, if you don't go ahead and organize them from the start, sometimes you accidentally use the wrong piece in one place, and then it's hard to know what belongs where. Okay, so we've got card bases. Card number 1 and card number 3 have the traditional card bases. Card number 2 is going to be the ornament card that has the unique card base. All right, then we've got our different matte pieces. So our note paper goes on number 2. Our fine border goes on number 3, and then the cross stitching goes on number 1. All right, then I think I'm going to, these I would assume are the stamped pieces. I typically like to stamp on when it's still on the carrier sheet, so I'm going to set that to the side for right now. And then it looks like all of the trees are going on card number 3. The flowers are going on card number 2, and then the ivy leaves are going on card number 1. So we will get going on that. So these have the printed colors on them. Not much for detail, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. The only thing that has any printed detail on here is the stem, or kind of like the vein going through the ivy leaves. Okay, so then the Christmas trees, that was card number 3. A little bit of a unique color scheme going on in this card with the kind of like bluey greens and pink. And then of course, white accent, very nice. So that's cool. I love traditional Christmas colors, but it is so fun to just kind of mix it up every once in a while. Go ahead and comment along, what's your favorite color scheme? Either for Christmas decorating or Christmas card making, it doesn't matter. You know, I am so inspired though by so many people who use alternative color schemes, and there are so many beautiful creations outside of the traditional colors. This year Stampin' Up! Has a product line, Modern Christmas, that is black, white, and gold, which traditionally I would think of black, white, and gold as like New Year's colors. But it is absolutely stunning. I am definitely a fan of it. So that's a few Christmas trees, just a few. But the detail on these cards is definitely up there, and there's lots of fine details, so I can understand why there's so many pieces. Of course, then as well, we are making 3 cards of each of the designs. So every piece, there are 3 times the amount. All right, so that sheet is done. Okay, next we have the laser cuts. So I know right off the bat the ornaments are going on card number 2. Try to be so delicate when working with laser cut pieces because they are typically not super prone to breaking, but if you're being haphazardous, they definitely will break. All right, is that going to be stamped? Oh yes, Merry Christmas from our house to yours. So again, I'm gonna keep that on here. The houses go on the first kit. The deer go on the third kit. We'll do those next. I love navy and gold for card, red and green for decorations. Ooh, I love that. And thank you for commenting and welcome, Emily. Thank you so much for joining. Navy and gold. Ooh, that sounds absolutely beautiful. Okay, those legs on the deer are so fine. Woo! Okay, then we've got, okay, the white go on card number 3 and the Lost Lagoon go on card number 2. Holy Toledo. Hold your breath while you are pulling these out. My golly. There are so few tiny little attachment points on here. Also, I have extremely long fingernails. Like, I always have long fingernails. I do know that, but these have gotten out of hand. So I'm just like, man, I don't want to just tear it. Wow, this is insane. I can't believe, so I have in my personal life gotten a little interested in laser cutters. Did not know there are so many different kinds and varieties and powers and speeds. But the level of accuracy for this type of cut is just unbelievable. That's crazy. Ah. There's like a little bit of a filmy texture to these that I personally am not a huge fan of, but I have texture and sensory issues, so yeah, that's why you'll see me keep rubbing my fingers. Oh no! Oh, there's that. Oh man. So, I don't know where October went. I mean, and I know we're not talking about Halloween because we're making Christmas cards, but here in Fond du Lac, trick-or-treating is always the Saturday before Halloween. And because Halloween's on a Friday this year, that means it's this weekend. And I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that we are already looking at... All right, my friends, I hate when this happens. I'm just going to kind of pause here for a second and see if we come back. Okay, I don't know, this is the second time that this happens to me, and I swear I'm cursed. I don't know that anyone else that uses this system has as much problems as I do. So thank you for hanging tight. I'm back, I hope, for good. So let's get back into it. Okay, I was going to say the same. Sensory issues. The wrong texture is just awful. Okay, so like I hate chalk. I cannot touch a piece of chalk. And my body has like a visceral reaction to the texture of chalk. And this reminds me, like, I don't know, there's like a powdery residue. That's not probably a really great way to describe it, but that's what I can come up with. And it's just giving me all the crazy feels. But the very bizarre thing, in my opinion, about sensory issues is they're very, very specific to the person. And the next person, and probably most people, wouldn't even recognize or think twice about how this feels. But I just know about myself that I hate chalky textures, and this gives me the sense, I mean, obviously there's no chalk involved here, but gives me the same sensation as chalkiness. So I was punching out the trees when whatever happened. So of course the trees are joining all of the rest of the trees over on card number 3. The leafy filigree is going on card number 2, and now the berry filigree is going on card number 1. In the instructions, and I'll show you this in just a second here, the white pieces are signified by, you know, just an outline around the white paper, which makes it look white. And these iridescent looking pieces are signified by a very fine light gray. All right, so there we go. We did it. Oh, interesting. So this is not actually a piece of whatever iridescence color this is. It's because it's not front and back. It's kind of just coated on the top. Very interesting. Okay, now we are not done. I cannot believe it. But wait, there's more. The next thing I like to do as a part of this process is do all of the stamping at once. It kind of just, in my opinion, streamlines the actual creation of the cards. So I will now put my piles off to the side and go ahead and stamp. Now this printed sheet has this very soft blue, and on that piece we are stamping. I think that one is From Our House to Yours. So at this point I will transition over to stamping From Our House to Yours. So you guys, I'm going to take just a real quick pause here. If you've been following along with me forever or in the last few months now, I've been talking about starting my own type of Stampin' Stuff. And Stampin' Stuff, that's so specific. I started by, I started by creating a class with Chris around the Advent calendar that is released. So last week, her and I designed a couple of cards for that, and now this week we're going to finish up. It's going to be 12 cards, and it is awesome. That Advent calendar is such a good deal, and there's so many really cool things in there. So very fun, very exciting. Stay tuned if you haven't seen or heard anything about that. I would love your support as I kind of kick off my business. But that aside, I'm moving into doing more with these kits, and I'm so excited about it. I'm hoping to get there by the turn of the year. That's my goal. So stay tuned. I know it seems like I've been talking about this for a while. But what I was going to say is, in getting more, I've been a part of Chris and Cards by Christine since the beginning. But now I'm getting to do and see other things because I haven't really designed with her all that much. So I started designing with her last week to do the Advent cards. And she's just so incredible and smart and such a great teacher. I've always felt like, okay, I need to, stamp off with my stamps before I use them because they have this like sticky texture to them. Well, she taught me how to condition my stamps. You guys all probably know how to do this because you have the ability, and I have the ability too, I just don't have the capacity. But I don't really get to watch Chris doing her stamping, and she probably does this. Oh, thank you so much, Emily. So I learned how to condition my stamps, and I actually learned that that's a real thing. I was sitting here thinking like, oh, maybe it's just me, like, again, maybe with the sensory things, like it feels sticky and I don't like that. But turns out, and maybe, okay, so again, maybe this is all things you already know. I have never used any of these stamps. You watched me just open them. Maybe we can do it all at one time. So you can stamp and this is all I ever used to do, was I would just kind of stamp it off on something, a piece of paper, not glass because that doesn't really take any of that off. But then she washed them. Oh no, don't tell me that. Okay. Rehydrating your chamois can take some time. And right now, I don't have the time for that. I don't want to waste your time. So then I feel like she washed it off, and then she took her sand eraser to kind of scratch some of that, I don't know, newness off. And then washed it again, and the difference between the image that was stamped was unworldly. I was like, man, you're too smart. So there you go, passing it on from me to you in case you have never seen or done that. So yes, now there definitely is some texture on it. You can actually see, I'm sure it's hard to see on the screen, but some of that sandiness come off. So get that cleaned off, and now your stamps are what we call conditioned and ready to make a nice, clean stamped image. So there you go. 1 week in, and I already learned something. I thought that was so funny. Like, I've literally been stamping with Chris for 10, well, okay, it's been way more than 10 years, but Chris and I went to our first convention in Salt Lake City in 2015. And I was like, oh man, okay, so it's time that I, learn these things. Okay, from our house to yours. So this is gonna go on card 1. This is going to be the house card. So what a fitting sentiment there. Go ahead, mount it on your block. Bring in your stamp pad or your Stampin' Spot. And now, as always, Stampin' Up! Gives you an extra, so you can kind of take a deep breath. It's okay if the first one or the second one or the last one is not the best. From our house to yours. That one looks pretty good. Excuse my hair. I used to try not to get my head in the frame until my stamping got really bad because I was not properly centering things. So now you get to see my hair. Okay, so the second one is really not that great. So I'm hopefully going to have these next ones all be perfect so that I can skip that one. Okay, so pretty good on that. I will go ahead and punch them out and put them on pile number 1. All right, then cleaning and moving on. Okay. There's a lot of little stamping. Okay, so the stamps are little, so no pun intended there, but like just little stamping details in this kit. I cannot get that on there straight to save my life. So I'm going to sneak ahead into the instructions just so that I don't miss any spots that need stamping. I have a crafter lanch. That's what some people like to call it, which is an avalanche for crafting. Okay, so from our house to yours, we did that. Then we need Merry Christmas on this piece. And you'll notice here in the instructions, the Merry Christmas is nested up to the top because the banner that we just did, which is the from our house to yours, is going to go beneath it. So you want to make sure we don't mess that up. Looking forward to seeing your cards in class with the Advent calendar. Thank you so much, Susan. I am so excited about it. I was a little apprehensive about the advent calendar. I'm going to be fully transparent with you, but I do love advent calendars. The kids and I get really into advent calendars. They like to do the Lego advent calendars. Okay, so we're centering left to right, but just keeping it towards the top. So I just didn't know what to expect. I didn't realize that the stamp set came with the advent calendar as like a bonus. So there's 12 surprises plus a stamp set, which makes 13. A little cat fur in there. So it makes 13 things. The price is $99, but after receiving the advent calendar and cracking it open, it is worth so much more. Plus, the cards that we designed are incredible. We've got 7 of 12 done, and the stuff was really fun to create with. I know some people were confused and or disappointed that the stuff wasn't Christmassy, but I think that was such a really good idea because it's kind of like all year seasonal, not just Christmas seasonal. So I thought that was really cool. I will be sure to show off the goodies as soon as they are done, which should be today. After this class, Chris and I are intending to finish up all of the rest of the cards for that. And then I can start showing them off and marketing it and hopefully selling it out. That's my goal. My other goal, sorry, I tend to overshare. My other goal is to qualify based on this class. So I'm looking, you can either purchase the kit for the advent calendar or you can get it free with a purchase, like with Stampin' Up purchase. And it is my goal to sell enough that I qualify in my business. So that's what I'm shooting for here. And yeah, I'm really excited. Okay, so next we have the stitched mat. And the stitched mat is going to get stamped with this background texture. So we are going, oh, the stitched mat and the star. Okay. So we're going to grab the baby star. Oh, there's so many arrows. Okay. I'm going to start with just the background. And it is going to go on the left-hand side as well as twice on the bottom. I don't know if it pays to rotate or not, but that's what I'm going to do. And okay, so this is a very, very delicate stamp. Small, tiny little details. Yes, it is only a background, so I'm not stressing about it too much, but I pushed too hard. So the photopolymer material is kind of firm, but it's not extremely firm. So when the details are so small, if you push too much, it kind of like spreads out and you just don't get as clear or crisp. Like that doesn't really look like a star. Those don't, they look smushed. And it is what it is. It is a background, so it's not the end of the world, but I'm just going to try on the rest of these to just more gently push down. And that makes a much cleaner looking stamped image. So there you go. I need to slow down to do that because this is not natural for me. But look at the difference here. So more smushy on the left, and on the right is much more dainty and delicate. So there you go. Now you know. then I'm going to clean this one off and switch to the tiny star, which I should have never taken off at the same time because, so I thought it was looking like they got mounted on the same block, and I'll show you why I thought that, but that does not appear to be the case. Oh, it is right here, thank goodness. I did not lose it. So the instructions show both stamps on the same block, but I don't think that that is the intention. So I'm trying to follow the crazy arrows, and if I'm going to point it out, so the star looks to be stamped here and there, and maybe there, but I can't quite tell. And then this, being the cluster, appears to be stamped there. Okay, I think I'm following. I think this is the bigger star, and I think it only is here to here. I think that's the only place that the bigger star is going. These arrows are the cluster, and they're going from here to up here and then twice down here. Okay, so I'm thinking, sorry if like this seems silly to explain, but I'm trying to make the most out of the instructions, hopefully so that you guys don't have any questions, concerns, or confusion. That is one thing, like, does it matter? No, but I don't like feeling confused, so I like to just kind of talk through what I'm thinking. So just for kicks, we're putting a big star somewhere in that cluster. There you go. That's my interpretation of the instructions. If anyone has a different interpretation, go ahead and share it, and or just do what your little heart desires, because there really is no wrong answer in card making. Okay, so now we have one last thing to do, and that is for this card, and that is this square tag. Very great little design element here. It kind of looks like a house, and this is the house card, so cute on that. We are taking the tiny little circle star, so it's a negative shaped star inside of a circle, and we're taking that stamp and not getting it stuck to our finger, definitely getting it stuck to our finger, stamping it in that little house. Again, we're going to try to just gently stamp, because that's going to be another one that if you push too hard, it's going to squish under and really lose that star detail. Okay, so that takes care of the stamping for the first card. Now, I'm not going to punch them out yet because there's a lot more elements to stamp on this yet. And earlier I was talking about how there's a little bit of a texture. Now, I don't think there's necessarily a texture to this one, but it does kind of have a, I don't know how to describe it, but like a film. It feels weird to my sensory-seeking little hands. And I can tell that the images that I'm stamping still have a little like gloss or sheen to it, and it appears as though it's going to take a little bit longer than normal for our stamped images to dry. So keep that in mind. All right, I am going to put this back. Oh, my goodness, it's right in front of my face. Okay, so I'm going to move this off to the side because I will need to be digging for more elements. Moving on to card number 2, we are stamping. Okay. So we are stamping a, my good golly, Miss Molly. There's a lot of little stamping details. Okay, so we are stamping the larger star in a circle onto these tags. Now there's 8 of them, which makes me feel as though there's maybe some for this card and the next card. That is correct. So we're only stamping in 4 of these because there's snowflakes going in the other 4. So keep that in mind. Okay, again, super tiny little star detail in here, so we really want to be gentle with how we're stamping this. With a star, it is nice to keep the point pointing up, kind of up north. it's not the most important thing, but I'm just going to try to have my top peak of the star pointing towards the hooky part. I am so very descriptive. Okay, that one did not stamp well at all. I will see if cleaning off the stamp helps. So I'm very hopeful that I can do better on the last two so that I can not use that one. And I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so it appeared as though cleaning the stamp off was very helpful. So I'm going to clean that off and then do one more time. It does make a difference if your stamp pad is properly inked. So like this one is not one of our more used colors, so it's more juicy. Not a bad thing, but something to keep in mind. So looking at these stamped images, so the second one, you can see a lot of texture to the stamped image, and you can see how the ink is seeping into that star shape, which is not ideal. Again, this is why I am so appreciative that Stampin' Up! Gives you an extra. As you can tell, in almost everything that we stamped so far, I have needed a second chance. And that's okay. I am a seasoned stamper. I have been doing this for probably 20 years, and sometimes we're in too much of a rush, or we're not paying attention, or, you know, we're still learning, and that's okay. Okay, so that takes care of that. Then we are going to bring in the note paper. On the note paper, we are going to take that stipply kind of background and stamp it twice. Okay, so one on each side, more towards the top. Again, just very lightly stamping. I'm even trying to not push it into the stamp pad too far so that it doesn't pick up too much ink. And then lightly pressing it on the surface. Okay, so that takes care of that step. Move that off to the side. Again, I think these pieces take longer to dry. Sending Joy. We'll do that one next. So again, in full transparency, when I first saw this, I thought, wow, these stamps are really small, but I love how they're being used. I think it's very creative and very impactful for the projects. I cannot get this stamp to stay on straight, and it's bothering me. Okay, Sending Joy. This is getting stamped on carrier sheet, so we'll bring that back into play. It's going on this scalloped rectangle. It's going centered left to right, more towards the bottom or more towards the scallopy end. Randy has not put this kit together yet, but she's thankful for the tips. They will really help. That is what I'm here for. I was thinking about this. My first career aspiration was to be a teacher. Right now I am teaching at my boys' school, Art and Fayette. But honestly, my favorite job is teaching you guys stamping. I'm learning so much as I go. Again, I think I'm gonna clean the stamp in between because that second one is just much more marbly looking, and I think it's from residual ink on the stamp, going back to the stamp pad, picking up more ink, and getting a little too juicy. Because stamping brings me so much joy, and I know how much joy the camaraderie of being a part of this community brings to so many of you. And it is so great to make these beautiful creations and then share the joy beyond the joy that we get for creating them. So I feel like obviously this would be considered a non-traditional teaching role, but this is my favorite teaching role. Okay, then we are switching to this teeny tiny little snowflake. The teeny tiny little snowflake, spoiler alert, is going to be used in these other ones. So I'm going to do that quick before I move this off because I think this is the last piece of stamping on this carrier sheet. I think those remain empty. I don't, oh, haha, just kidding. All is calm and bright is going on that one. Not an issue. But while I have this mounted, I'm going to stamp it on here before we move to what card number 2 needs for this snowflake. Again, I'm going to try to keep the spine of the snowflake pointing up. Just a small little detail, but I think it's nice to make it look more intentional. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Last but certainly not least, we've got number 4. Before I move this out of the way, I am going to stamp the All Is Calm and Bright so that it has a little bit more time to dry before I punch any of these pieces out. And then yes, I will come back to this itty bitty snowflake and what we were previously planning to do. Oh, All Is Calm and Bright is going on the long strip, and that is going aligned to the left. Okay. For these longer sentiments, they work best on the block when you turn them diagonal. Also, I find that it's easier to stamp it because then I can hold the block more naturally instead of feeling kind of just, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like holding the block at a diagonal helps me center it better. Now, that being said, these long and skinny ones can be a little particular because they are, again, not super firm, and they're more flexible, that's the word. And I feel like mine was curving a little, so I'm gonna remount that. Last one. Okay, the last one I think is the best one, so nice work. All right, then we are going to bring our ornaments onto the scene. I'm gonna bring the snowflake back. And then the snowflake is going to get stamped in each of the bulbs of the ornament. Oh my. Okay. Just checking. Yep, snowflake in both. Now, there are some other little things. There's stars, the stars and the circles. You could probably even put the Christmas tree on there if you wanted. So, in my opinion, you could stamp whatever you wanted, but I see no reason to deviate from the snowflakes. No, come on. Ooh. Okay. I feel like the pressure's on here because there's only 3 and we need all 3. Obviously, the small little snowflake is way bigger, or the block is way bigger than the small little snowflake. But even here, you're seeing that I have it on in a diagonal, and I'm stamping in a diagonal. So maybe it's just something about me and the diagonal. I don't know. Does anyone else do that? So I try not to repeat this all the time, but even when a kit comes with a block, I like to bring in my own block because Stampin' Up's block that they sell is just more ergonomical, especially with all of this small stamping. I want to be comfortable with how I'm holding the block. So these nice rounded edges are very nice for this kind of stamping. Okay, then it appears as though we've got all of the stamping done for card number 2, and we already have a head start on card number 3. I've got the All Is Calm and Bright and the snowflakes done. So now we're just gonna bring the stippling background stamp. And we are putting that on this matte piece. I'm running out of workspace. Which always happens. Hello, Connie. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, it looks like we've got this stamped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 times, kind of just creating a halo effect around the top. Now, on this piece, there is somewhat of a top and bottom. So you want the like debossed edge popping up, not necessarily sinking down. Obviously, you can choose whichever you prefer, but the intention here is for it to be popping up. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. Just kind of caressing around what will be trees. That's a bad place to put it. When I have to clean my stamps, it's going to be in the way. Oops. Horizontal. That's a good start. So I like to just rotate my stamp as I'm stamping so that it doesn't look like it's just a copy and paste texture. But there really is no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this. Although this time I think I stamped it 7 times, which again, doesn't matter. Just pointing it out. And to be honest with you, I think I like how that one looks a little better. I will not be able to replicate any of these perfectly, but this looks like I'm stuck more with a lot up in the corner and none in that corner. This looks more well dispersed. So I did good on number 2, and now it's like the pressure's on for number 3. Something like that. All right. Lo and behold, I think we have made it to the end of the stamping. Lots of stamping in this one, and I am actually very happy about it. Nice little details, and also it just kind of brings back, you know, sometimes I feel like we we've come so far in our stamping world over the past, I mean, Stampin' Up's been around for like 35 years. We've got beautiful embellishments and dies and embossing. Sometimes we forget about the stamping, and that's like what we're all here for. So, like I said, not real sad about it. Okay, now where is my carrier sheet? It is time to punch out some elements while the last of our few pieces are drying. From our house to yours, that goes over there. Can move some of these things. Ew, which pile did this go on? Ah! Okay, Merry Christmas. This is from card number 1. Sending Joy is card number 2. Take your 3 best images. If you're a rock star and you have 4 good images, congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, so this was card number 2. The snowflakes were card number 3, and the house looking one was card number 4. What did I just say? This was number 2. This is number 3. And I think I just said 4 and I meant to say 1. My brain is thinking in cursive today. All is calm, all is bright. That is going to be card number 3. I hear I have a visitor. Hello, hello. All right, this goes on card number 3. That can go off to the side. I think our little stippled backgrounds are maybe dry, which is also card number 3. We might be ready to start making cards. I feel like this has been a long time in the making. Okay, let's grab our instructions. And let's see if we can do this. Also, I'm going to put my stamps away. Get rid of any unnecessary distractions. Okay. Okay, so I thought I did a really good job and I missed one thing. The from our house to yours should be pushed off to the right, not necessarily centered. So oopsies on that. We will obviously make it work. So grab one of each of our pieces, which there are a lot of. The only pieces that we are taking 2 of is we are taking 2 leaves and 2 pieces of foliage. Okay. Move the excess off to the side. Connie, I don't remember if I said hi to you or not. Like I said, my brain is just bouncing all over the place. So hi, Connie. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you being here as we make the Calm and Bright kit. Okay, go ahead and burnish your edge. this is going to be a vertical card, and then we are going to take 30 inches of this. So, whoa, got a little curliness to it. So we've got 10, 20, 30. That's a lot. Ribbon scissors and trim it. Okay, now this is going to go 1, 2, 3 times around this stamped mat. I'm going to start by putting a piece of tear and tape on each side. If you are just a kit stamper and don't have your own supplies, that is okay. You could use a glue dot or double stick tape, or you definitely could get by without it as well. To me, this just makes it easier, and I like easier. So take the backing off. I like to pull the twine through my fingers to straighten it out. When it's curled up tightly on that little spool, it gets so curly. All right, so 1. I don't want these pieces or like these ribbons to just completely stand over each other, so I'm just gonna kind of give it some variation in placement. Now, when I did that this way with the tear and tape, so if you do it a different way, this might change. I have a lot of extra. Like, I really feel like I have almost 10 inches of extra. I wouldn't say exactly 10, and I don't want anyone to come up short, but I would cut it at maybe 22 inches. Here, let's see what I just took off. If you're going to be doing it that way. So I have 9 whole inches left. So yeah, plenty of extra. Just put this in your scrap ribbon pile. You definitely can make something out of that. Okay. This is going to go, oh, I see. They instruct to tie it in a knot on the back. That is definitely a way to do it without any adhesive. I have these adhesives. This is how I like to make my cards. If that's not how you like to make your cards, that is a-okay. All right, we are putting 3, 6, 7, 8 dimensionals, mini dimensionals on the back. 3 across the top, 3 across the bottom, and then 1 on each of the sides. It appears as though the twine is kind of like middle, maybe just south of the midline. Peel all the backs off. And then that can get mounted on your card base, which I put over to the side here. Okay, excellent.
Morning.
Good morning.
If I should turn the water on, will you turn it off for Bigger Tigger?
I sure can.
If you hear it, like, still running.
When
and
he's
don't
done?
See, and don't see a kitten there.
I can do
He
that.
hasn't learned to shut it off yet.
Huh. Will he?
Never.
No. Oh, man. There's limitations. Okay, so then Merry Christmas. We are going to put dimensionals behind. And be careful when you flip it over because we are being intentional about where we place our dimensionals. We are going to be putting 2 on the ends and then 1 centered on the bottom. Ooh, but we're not trying to hang it over the edge.
Hi, kitten. Did you photograph anything yet?
I photographed it all.
Okay. Did you do the monthly one?
No.
Okay, perfect. Because I gotta put gems on this card yet.
Okay. I didn't see that one.
That's okay. Okay. Good job. I'll bring it back down a little bit. Okay, so these are not done. We can work off with the. Yeah.
Okay, then
So,
this is going to get put right on top of the ribbon strips that we just put down.
alright.
So basically you're just gonna see the ribbon peeking out the left and right sides. Okay. Then the From Our House to Yours. We've got glue dots included in the kit, or you can bring in your liquid glue. This liquid glue is just about cashed. We're gonna flip that over. This is going to go hanging off the right-hand side just a smidge. Tiny little peeking out of white on the bottom, which means it's kind of going to cover up your descender of your Y, just a smidge. Okay, then, before that dries, I was supposed to sneak a holly leaf behind here, so we're going to just, you know, very quickly do that. Sheep. Okay. Wow. Good timing on that. There's so many pieces. It's like what makes this amazingly beautiful, but dang, I needed to be way more awake for that this morning. Schmoopsies. Okay, then we are nestling 3 of these pink matte dots to look like holly berries. And my nails are way too long for this, so I'm going to bring in my take your pick tool and use the putty end. And we are going to nestle these in like a diamond triangle orientation. Now this is where I had said the From Our House to Yours should be kicked over more, because then this would not look so empty on the end and so crunchy on the start. So oopsies. Now, if you were following along with me and did it the way I did it, you could always trim this a little bit and then scoot it over and put your holly berries not necessarily on the banner. That's how I would suggest salvaging this if you didn't stamp it how they instructed you to. Again, whoops. Okay, so now we are moving on to, okay, so these iridescents are going to get adhered with glue dots or glue. I'm just trying to see where. Oh, okay. It looks like they're getting put together. So glue them together and then down, and then we're also including this holly leaf on a dimensional in between the two. Ah! So we'll do that. We'll put a dab of glue behind it. Again, glue dots are fine. I just am not very proficient with glue dots, so I don't use them very often. And I'm going to actually just put a dot of glue to stick this down because it's gotten a little cattywampus. Oh my goodness. There's more. I'm just joking around. I'm actually really loving this. This is very beautiful. We need a 5-inch piece of twine, which I just saved 9 inches. So let's go ahead and cut that out. We're making a baby bow on the little tag, and we're also putting dimensionals behind the house. You guys, we're almost done with this card, I promise. It's been a little bit of a marathon. So the dimensional behind the houses is going to get peaked in this vicinity. I don't want it to go too far down because I want to see all those cute little doors and windows. So we'll put it right there-ish. Then we're also putting a dimensional behind this tiny little guy. And I'm going to tell you guys, I am not good at bows when my nails are this long. I am so sorry. I never thought about what I was doing today. I need to pack like a, what's it called? Nail clipper in my purse so that I can take care of it. I never think of cutting my nails when I need them cut. So I'm going to make a tiny bow on the bow maker. This is actually not going to be tiny enough, I don't think. Oh, here we go. This is a tiny bow. Like, super tiny. Except for why am I not thinking of how I need to do this correctly? Okay, so this goes here. And this goes under. This is how people feel with acrylic nails, isn't it? I don't ever do my nails. Like, acrylics are not something that I ever do. So, I don't even ever paint my nails. They just grow and then I forget to cut them. Okay, so now we have a tiny little bow, which I'm just going to stick on with a glue dot. I know, I was just saying how I never use glue dots, but in this instance, I will. If you wanted to tie your bow onto your tag, that is the intention here. I just don't feel like I can do that. A, with my nails, and B, with just my skill. I'm not very good at that. So I'm just not going to do that. I'm also going to put the tag between my leaves. That's kind of how it works best on my layout, how I have them glued. It does show that it would go in the middle portion, kind of over here. I don't want mine to be there, so I'm not going to put mine there. Okay, coming down to the end here. I'm going to take the other end of the Take Your Pick tool and pick up a glue dot, put it in the central area of the tag, and then stick the bow to it. And that's how I'm going to get by without putting the bow actually in the tag. Also going to allow me to maneuver the tails how I want them. Holy Toledo, guys, we have a finished card. Look at that. That is a stunner. So many pieces. Beautiful thing about it is when you get a kit, all of those pieces are ready to be punched out. You don't even need to die cut. It's ready for you. All right, we have one done. We have 2 to go. So let me put that off to the side. Next, we have our ornament card. I'm not going to bring the envelope in because I didn't need to do anything to it. So it's just an extra piece for me. So again, 1 of each piece, of course, 2 of the leaf thingies, 2 of the pines, 2 of the foliage, and then 1 of each color of the flowers. Okay. I'm going to take a hot second of a break and go get my water because I've been talking a lot. All right, gotta stay hydrated. Okay, this is the card that opens vertically. So lo and behold, I actually forgot to bring my card base in. Boom. Done. Okay, again with the 30 inches of ribbon. Oh, I need to turn my instructions over. Ooh, we need 31 inches of ribbon this time. Talk about an exact science. I will report back to you on if that was actually necessary. I'm going to debunk the instructions a little bit. Yes, I will give the 31, so 13, 26, plus 5. I feel like I work at Joanne. Okay. That is 31 inches. Now, again, the instruction here, this is going around the card base this time instead of the mat, but the instruction here is to tie it in the middle. Not doing that. At least I'm not. You guys can. Going to pull this so it's not so curly. Whew. I'm getting a little overwhelmed, guys. I am so sorry. Don't get overwhelmed. Okay, I am going to put tear and tape. Now, it is a little important where the placement goes here because this is a much smaller mat and you don't want this to be peeking out. So maybe like 1.5 inches in from each side. Take the tear and tape off. And then I'm going to stick it down. Just to let you know, we're in the like top third, not in the middle here. Okay, I'm gonna stick it down and then I'm going to go back and forth. Now, there's enough space between these on the side here. So I wanna honor that. I like how that looks. That's another thing that I like about using the tear and tape method for twine is you can really be directional with how you are placing down your ribbon and you can tell it who's boss. Okay, I personally believe that that is easier than trying to tie it. Now, I just trimmed some off. For those of you keeping score, this is about 5 inches that I cut off. So that used about 26 inches of ribbon. Now, I don't want you to cut yourself short. Fun fact, later we need 4 inches of ribbon. So you can cut your 31 inches, use what you need, cut it off, and then have this piece for later. Okay? Isn't that nice how that worked out? Okay, that is step number 1. Stamping is step number 2. Fortunately, we did that all already. Flip. That did a 360. Flip this over. We're putting 3 dimensionals on each side of the back here. And then we're going to take the dimensional backs off and pray that our tear and tape is where we need it to be. I don't see any issue, but you know, you never know. Another step in the process that you could do is what we call a tear and tape sandwich. And that would just be taking 2 little pieces of tear and tape and covering up the exposed tear and tape. It does 2 things. First of all, it really secures the ribbon nicely. Second, it prevents the layers that are on top of it from sticking, especially if you're sending this in the mail. It could stick to this back piece and then kind of like make it all like curvy, not how you want it. All right, taking the dimensionals off the back. Oh, I kind of skipped. I skipped something. We'll go back to that. Now, this matted piece is going to go centered top to bottom and left to right. One thing I'm going to do before I stick this down is I'm going to give this a little texture by like kind of flipping some of these up like it looks like it was actually torn out of a notebook. So I'm just going to tassel that around a little bit. And then I'm going to stick it down. Okay. Going back to step number 2 when we did the stamping, we're actually sticking this to our Sending Joy. Okay, so flip this over, flip the ornaments over. It looks like we're kind of adhering it with dimensionals. Nope, just kidding. I was like, that does not make sense. There's 2 glue dots that are going to hold this to the sentiment piece. I'm going to opt to use liquid glue, whatever format adhesive you'd like to use. This is going to stick kind of right in the middle. So get that down right where you want it. Let it dry for just a couple seconds. Then we're going to bring in some dimensionals. We're going to put 1 smack dab in the middle, and then 1 at each top here and 1 on each of the ornaments. So 5 total. Okay, take the dimensionals off. Flip this over, and then this is going to get mounted right towards the top of this piece. And what that does is it lets this little pink ornament hang off a little, which is a fun little detail. All right, now we have more. So we are sticking the flowers together. We're sticking down the foliage, and we are putting ribbon on and sticking on this little bauble. Now, 4 inches of ribbon here. How we are using that is up for debate. Down on the instructions down here, it shows that we're tying a bow. In the instructions up there, it shows that we are sticking it through like a tag. Let me explain the difference. First of all, according to the instructions up here, we wanted 5 inches of ribbon to make a baby bow. 4 inches might be a little tight. Just a warning there. Now, it's whatever optic you want. Whether you want it to be a bow, that's up to you. I am going to opt to do what it shows in the actual picture up here because it's kind of covering over the top of the flower, and I feel like a bow might be a little weird there. So you're going to fold it in half and peek it, and then take that peak and dive it through the top of this little bauble. Okay, now you've got loops and tails. You're going to take the tails and feed them through the loops, and then you're going to tie it, pull it tight. Okay, then this is definitely plenty long, so you'll want to trim the tails. Now, whether you want to do a bow, you are more than welcome to. Okay, this is going to have a dimensional behind it. The rest of the pieces appear to be stuck on with what is going to be your choice of liquid glue or glue dots. Okay, so first we are taking the dark pink, putting a glue dot or a dot of glue, not the same thing, in the middle, sticking the light pink on sideways so that you've got flower petals poking out in every direction. Then you are going to stick it, not yet, just kidding. That's the top layer. Okay, one thing at a time. Okay, I'm gonna stick a couple spots of glue on the top here that we are going to stick the ferns to. Ferns go down, evergreen, fern, whatever, goes down first. Yay, caramba. Okay. Then I'm going to stick another dot of glue. Next is going to be this. Why can't I think of what I want to call this? The like leafy thing that's got the iridescence on it. My goodness, guys, I'm losing my words. Then we're gonna put some glue behind the flower. I'm gonna stick that right in the middle. Now, when you stick this down, make sure you're not covering up your words. Very important detail. Also, not shown here, I'm gonna stick a dimensional behind the back part that's kind of like hanging off because I don't feel like that's very secure. So we're gonna take that. I like to do these covert missions with take your pick tool. Get that on there and then just shove that in and pull it out. Now, there's also not much support beneath the paper pad at that point, so I'm gonna take one more and shimmy that in as well. Much more secure. I'm a fan of that. Okay, now we are putting some white embellishments. I got just a little bit of sticky glue. Putting some white embellishments in the center of the flower. So, putty tool is great for this. And then, I thought we were done. We're not. Then we are going to put this little bauble hanging right there. Now, I don't like where that is. That's where it is suggested to go. I'm gonna not do that, and I'm gonna put it down here. I don't love that either. I think it's just too crowded up there. I don't like how crowded it looks. Yes, it does look like the Sending Joy was stamped even just a smidge farther down, but I still don't think that that gives it enough room up there. So naturally I'd rather have it in this corner, but that one's hanging down. I don't know. Put it where you think it fits best. And then there you have card number 2. And you know what? You could even just not have it on. Or you could not have a dimensional behind it and put it on the inside. So, options. I'm just choosing to not put it where they had specified. All right, we are on to the third card. This is the tree card. Again, one of each supply. Which there are a lot of. The only thing we're taking 2 of are going to be these white little piney branches. I have some mystery glue on my finger. Oh, looks like we're taking 2 of these iridescent trees as well. 1 deer. That may or may not be each of the pieces. So we're going to start in the hopes that that is all of them. Okay, easiest step is first. And the easiest step is going to be folding this and burnishing it. Now we're going to take a drink of water because we are overwhelmed. Sorry guys, the cards are not overwhelming me. I have a little bit of a headache, so that's not helping. Okay, I'm also going to move all of my dimensionals off because I keep dragging them with my sleeve. All right, we have a horizontal card here. Step number 1 is all of the stamping. Step number 2 also includes stamping. So yay, we're done with that. We're also taking a 5-inch piece of ribbon here. Spoiler alert, that's going to become a baby bow. Okay. Pull that off to the side. Okay, dimensionals behind this guy. I'm actually going to put 9 on instead of 8, so we've got 3 and 3 and then 2 in the middle. I'm just going to do 3, 3, and 3, so there's nice support under all of it. Okay, this is then going to get centered onto your card base. Just make sure when you're putting it on that your fold is at the top and your stamping's at the top. Otherwise, we're going to have a weird scene that looks like we're in a snow globe because the snow's not going to be on the top. Okay. Flipper still skin this over. That looks relatively centered. It looks a little crooked. I love the look of these thicker mats, as in like the mats that have more border, but I really struggle personally. This is probably not like a normal thing. I really struggle to get them centered well. We'll call that better. Okay, we're on step 3 already. Woohoo! Okay, so now we are going to start layering trees. The Big Bertha, the tall, darkest lagoon tree, is going to have 3 dimensionals behind it. So I'm going to start with that one. Flip that over. Stick it centered top to bottom and left to right. I'm intentionally starting with that guy because I think it's going to help me like layer out from there. Next we are going to put the pink trees. Looks like the dark pink tree goes on the left and the light pink tree goes on the right. 1 dimensional behind those guys. I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm going to do 2. Again, dark pink on the left, light pink on the right. We're going to nestle this under the green tree. I know it's not really green, but greenish tree. So the placement on this one, it's going to be kind of at the first tier, and we want to kind of hide the triangle here, or however you would like, but that's what I'm trying to do to kind of match the Stampin' Up! Instructions. Okay, then light pink is going to go in that first tier again, just not quite as far under this time. Okay, then we've got dark pink on the right, glue dots or liquid glue. Nestled up and behind the light pink tree. Light green nestled just off of the light pink. Now, before that dries, we want to tuck in the iridescence. So we want to get this behind this guy. Okay, so bad news on the dimensionals. I didn't place them super great. Behind the pink one. I know, I put an extra one. Maybe that's why. Actually, I think it is why. There's supposed to be dimensional just right here. That would have helped this one tuck better, but I'm okay with how that looks. Oh, also there's two different sizes of iridescent trees, and I chose the wrong one. It's stuck now. So, learn from me. Smaller iridescent tree on the left, larger iridescent tree on the right. Oh gosh, and no, this one's not. That one's not going to go under either. So we'll stick that down and then try to tuck it under. I knew there was a risk in doing this my own way. Okay, don't mind me for a second. It's under. Wow. Okay, we did it. Now, all is calm, all is bright. We are putting dimensionals on the far left and far right, and a smidgen of glue in the middle. I don't know exactly how I will do this for the next two cards because I like working out from the middle because it helps with the placement, but I don't want to have to like tear up the card again. So, I don't know. I'm going to play it by ear. Okay, take the dimensionals off. Whoopsies. All is calm, all is bright is going to go through the middle. Okay, the deer is going to, we'll start with the foliage. This is just going to get tucked up in here. Holy man. And up in here. So fine, which looks so fine, as in so cool. But darn. Okay, also, I put it in the wrong spot. kind of goes. Okay. And we're putting it back. It looks like it's kind of supposed to go on the pink tree, but I don't see how that's going to work super great. So back to the deer. We're sticking the deer down on the tag, on the sentiment. Then this little snowflakey guy is getting a dimensional behind it. Which is going here-ish. And then we've got a baby bow. 5 inches of ribbon. Okay. Now we just need to get it tied. But I also want it spread out a little bit. This bow maker is amazing. Okay. It's so helpful. Okay. Get that off of there. Hello, Karen. Whew, you're definitely gonna have to catch the replay on this one. It's a doozy. We've got a lot going on. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. Oh, you guys. All right, glue dot. Take your pick tool. Get that in there. I got the glue dot wrapped around it. Eee! Stick the baby bow on and tell it who's boss. Trim the tails. Got little wispy tails. Then we've got 3. Hi, Carmen. Thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate your support. If you are just tuning in, definitely catch the replay. There's a lot of good tips and tricks on how to successfully complete this kit. If you're just here to say hi, I appreciate that too. Uh-oh. Got dimensional backs everywhere. Okay, so 3 white embellishments. Putty tool helps you put them here, here, and here. I am a huge fan of these cards. Hello, sorry I can't decipher your username. I know who you are. It's part of your name. How am I doing? I am doing actually fantastic. Had a really, really, really great night last night with the boys. They came back from their dad's and they were just so excited to see me, which my mommy heart loves and needed that. Thank you, Marcia. They are extremely pretty cards. I am blown away. I will tell my story as I clean up and set out them for you guys to look at. So I've been in a little bit of a funk, and it was great to have such quality time with the boys last night. It really filled up my cup. Oh my gosh, so pretty. So this is the Calm and Bright. Is that what it's called? I think so. Calm and Bright kit, October 2025 through Stampin' Up. Amazing, amazing cards, amazing kits, so many fine details. It's a stunner. You're gonna want to get it. If you do purchase it, you can purchase it through Christine Bertram or myself. Help me reach my goal of qualifying. And definitely stay tuned. We've got more information, more information about the Advent kit coming probably later today, if not soon. So lots of fun and excitement happening. What do you think of these cards? I'm stuck. There you go. Sorry, I cross my legs when I sit in that.
I see that. I don't know how you can manage that, but they're beautiful.
Yeah. That's a kit class.
Yeah, they're really pretty. I love how soft and delicate they are. Now, this is out of stock at the moment, I think.
Oh.
I think I looked in this one, and the tags, the Nutcracker tags, are both out at the moment.
Wow.
He went fast. So Jay Shantae and Nancy Haggard zhuzhed theirs up.
I believe it.
By adding in like pink layers and Lost Lagoon and Pool Party layers.
I believe it.
So pretty.
Very pretty. All right, so we'll have to do these cards soon because I won't have to rush them at the last minute. Yes, these cards are not rushing cards. I learned that, as in this kit class took over an hour and 45 minutes, and that's not normal.
I know, I was like, I can't believe you're still alive.
I know. There are so many fine details, and especially with that stamping. You know, some of the kits don't have stamping, and that's kind of a personal preference thing, whether you like that or not. But there was a lot of stamping and a lot of, like, tips on how to stamp it well, because, you know, we made some mistakes. Carmen is wondering if you got her order for class.
Carmen Sanders.
Carmen Sanders.
I haven't looked yet.
She hasn't looked, but we will keep you posted. So, enjoy these
I worked
cards.
on my speech last night.
Oh, yes.
And
Okay.
I got all my slides prepared.
Are there going to be more Christmas kits? Great question, Marcia.
So we got an email that says what the 2 kits are for next month.
So next month, so we're leading into November. November there will be more kits released for the kits collection.
Did I forward it to you?
And let me check.
I think I might have. It was the Stampin'. It was the 60 weekly from last week. Told us what the 2 kits are.
Oh, got it.
So I don't know if I would have forwarded it to you. I thought I would have forwarded it to you. It was. I could have switched. So like a week ago today. And if it wasn't last week, it was the week before.
Succeed Weekly.
What does that say? Love what you keep. That was it.
Okay, so that's not really Christmassy though.
But show them. Like
Adventure Awaits.
Yeah,
kit.
that's
so
it.
here's
So it might not be Christmassy.
here's something coming up. It's called the Adventure Awaits kit. This will be released in November. So going on the whole theme, and I know my screen maybe looks a little dark over there. Let's see if I can brighten that up for you. And it's still got a little bit of a bluish tint to it, but at least it's a little better. This is going off of the Red Truck, the Road to Christmas kit. I mean, it's not the same, but it's kind of the same theme. But no, these are not going to be Christmassy. Don't know
There's another
what.
one.
Okay, here's another one.
Hold on.
Everyday Beauty kit. So I'm guessing these are the 2 that are coming in November.
and those are
Very
the
pretty. Another blue-ish theme. So we had a hues of blue or something like that kit a while ago. That was really great. This has, it looks like waxy seal elements to it. So that's cool. Something different. Yeah, so those are the upcoming November kits, but we are starting to wean away from Christmas. So hoping that the Christmas kits that have gone out of stock come back in stock. No guarantee on that, but that's the hope here. So that you can get some of those for your Christmas crafting needs. There are a couple Christmas kits in the catalog as well, that have been out for quite a while. I cannot remember what they are called, but there's one with a very gold-ish sheen to it. So yeah, check it out if you are in need of Christmas cards or Christmas kits. Otherwise, I was gonna say, we've got Paper Pumpkin coming. There's tons of them on hand. And Chris always has beautiful card kits that aren't necessarily kits collection kits, but Another great option to fulfill your Christmas card needs. So let us know how we can help you, and we will help you in any way we can. And enjoy these cards. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you sharing, commenting, liking, subscribing, all of that fun stuff. It helps us in a variety of different ways. So in the meantime, we are sending you lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs your way.